In this video, I'm talking about whether it's better to repay your mortgage faster or boost super. Thanks for joining me today. If we haven't met before, my name's Angela. I'm your money messenger. On this channel, you're going to learn about all things money related, coming to you from my 20-year career working in the Australian financial planning industry. I help other financial planners to help their clients save more money, reduce debt, and get wealthier. So in this video, we're going to talk about whether it's better to repay your mortgage faster or boost super. Let's get started. So it's a common question that people want to know, is it better to repay debt or to invest money? So today we're particularly talking about whether it's better to repay a home loan, your mortgage, where you live in the property, or to boost your superannuation through contributions. So let's look at paying your mortgage first. When you've got surplus income and a mortgage, if you do nothing else with your money, repay your mortgage faster. Now you can do that by putting the money in an offset account, which is a bank account attached to the home loan, which essentially means for every dollar you put in the offset account, bank account, that $1 comes off your mortgage and then the bank charges you on the remaining balance. So your interest costs will be lower. So you could save your surplus income into an offset account that's attached to your mortgage, and that will essentially be the same result as you paying that money off your mortgage directly. The difference is the money that's in the offset account, you have the facility to be able to withdraw that money if you need to for emergencies or whatever and use the money. Whereas if you put the money straight onto your home loan, unless you have a redraw facility, you may or may not be able to take that money back out of your mortgage if you need it. So an offset account gives you added flexibility. With the offset account, of course, comes a temptation to spend the money. So if you think you will save, you will spend the money that you put into an offset account, it's too tempting to be able to access the money at call, then make the extra payments directly off your mortgage balance. If you get stuck, ask your lender how to do that. But that's a great way of locking in those extra payments so that you don't have the temptation to take them out. Or even if you do have a redraw facility, it's a little bit complicated or too hard basket for you to just access the money willy-nilly. For every dollar that you put in your mortgage offset account or directly onto the mortgage, it's the same benefit for argument's sake for this video. But for every dollar you put on that mortgage balance, you're essentially getting a guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free return on your investment. What do I mean by that? Say your home loan at the moment, say it's 3% your interest rate. That means for every dollar you repay off your mortgage extra, you essentially get a 3% risk-free, tax-free return on your investment. So it's risk-free because every single dollar you put onto the mortgage, you're saving 3% interest that you would otherwise pay to the bank. So that is your immediate return. It's risk-free. You're going to get that no matter what because every dollar you put on the loan, you essentially get the same back in the interest rate that you're paying. It's also tax-free. What do I mean by that? It's not actually money that you're earning. It's not a bank paying you 3%. You're essentially saving 3%. So it's not actual money in your pocket, which would be taxed if you'd earned that from another investment. It's a saving of money, which means it's 3% in your pocket versus 3% in the bank's pocket. But being not an actual return, not cash that somebody gives you like another investment would, it's not taxable. So when we say it's a risk-free, tax-free return, whatever dollar you put on your loan, you essentially get the same back, whatever equal to your interest rate that you're paying. Paying off your mortgage is a great idea because it gets rid of non-deductible debt faster. Usually your home loan, you're not using it to make interest, the property that you're living in. So the interest on your home loan is not tax deductible. It's not tax effective. There's no tax benefits whatsoever. So whether you would have an investment property loan or you have a home loan, a mortgage, we'd always repay the home loan first because it's not tax deductible. It's not tax effective. There's no reason to have it except that it's paying for the house that you're living in. So you want to get rid of that as soon as possible. For every dollar you're repaying off that loan, you're paying less interest to the bank because you're getting the loan balance down sooner rather than later. So instead of keeping your mortgage for 25 years or 30 years or whatever the banks lent you the money for, which is an average term of a mortgage, get rid of it faster, repay the loan faster, and you will save less interest costs. Because did you know that for an average 25 or 30 year investment, a loan term, you essentially pay for the property twice over by the time you add on all the interest and the costs. So if you want to get rid of that loan as soon as possible, you pay less interest, you pay less for your house essentially as well. And security. The faster you can repay your loan, the faster you will then have an unencumbered property. You will have a debt-free property, which is security for you and your family, that you'll always have a place to live no matter what. You'll always have that money available to you if you ever do need to sell your home or whatnot. And you also have the option to downsize later on in retirement and free up some of that capital, which could then go towards your retirement savings. So repaying your home mortgage sounds like a great idea, and it is. If you've got nothing else to be doing, just throw your money at your home mortgage. That's a great way to go about things, because at least you're using your money wisely compared to it sitting in a bank account or just being spent. However, the question for today was whether it's better to repay your mortgage or to boost your super. So now let's have a look at the benefits of super and why I actually think it's better to boost your super. So let's have a think about interest rates for a moment in Australia. We're living in a really low interest rate environment. A lot of people are paying 3% for their home mortgage, maybe 4% for an investment property. Some people are paying as little as 1.99% on their home loan rates. Like, that's the lowest I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I think they'll be quite low for some time. So whilst you're paying low interest rates, that then means you can probably do better elsewhere with other investments that have shares and property exposure, and they will probably earn a lot higher for you in your pocket than the 1.99% or the 3% that you're paying to your bank. So let's stick to our example for 3% that I used before when we're talking about a home mortgage. Just assume you've got a home mortgage rate of 3%. Think about your superannuation. Most people, if your employers set it up for you or if you set up your own, you'll probably be in a balanced portfolio or even a higher growth portfolio, particularly if you're younger, which means you have more exposure to shares and property. So if you look at your super and you try and think, will my portfolio outperform the cost of my home loan over the long term? If you're paying 3% on your home mortgage, will your superannuation portfolio return more than 3% each year? Probably. If you're investing in shares and property and they're not earning you more than 3% a year, then there's a problem. Interest rates are very low at the moment, so it's going to be very easy for you to outperform the cost of your home loan by investing elsewhere. So if you're invested in a balanced portfolio or a growth portfolio or even a high growth portfolio in your superannuation, you'll have exposure to shares and property, which means if your portfolio is earning 5%, 6%, 7%, 10% or more, depending on what the share market's doing, it's then very easy to see you can do more with your money by putting into super instead of paying it off your home loan. Now, caveat to that, when you pay your money off your home loan, I said to you it's a risk-free, tax-free, immediate return on your money equal to whatever the interest rate is that you're paying. With your super, it's not risk-free, it's not tax-free, but the returns will probably be a darn sight bigger than what your mortgage interest rate is. So with super, your returns are taxed at 15% in your super fund. Who cares? So you're making money, doesn't matter. 15% tax rate is usually a lot lower than most of your marginal tax rates. So that's why we say super is one of the most tax effective investments available in Australia. Once you then retire, all your returns in super become tax free when you switch to pension. So that's why financial advisors always promote putting money into super, because what's tax effective now whilst you're building your super, but it's super duper tax effective, tax free once you get to retirement age. Secondly, it's not risk-free superannuation. You've got share exposure, you've got property exposure in your portfolio, which means it goes ups and downs. And we saw last year, particularly when the pandemic started, there was quite big downs in the share market. So people would have saw their money, their balance, their retirement savings going down. But fast forward 18 months later, now here we are, and the share market's gone back up and then some. So if you're looking at your retirement's 20, 30 years away for some people, don't even worry about what the share market's doing on a day-to-day basis. Check what super fund you're in. Have a look at what investment option you're in. It'll say it on your statement. Go onto the internet, type it in. Say you're in the Host Plus Balance Fund. Type that in, Host Plus Balance Fund returns. It'll pop up there and show you what the fund's done over a year, over 3 years, over 5 years. If you're in the Rest Super Growth option, type that in, returns, growth, CBUS Super Growth Option returns, and it will show you 1 year, 5 years, whatnot. Don't worry about the 1 year one because that's such a short term in the scheme of investing. Look at the 3 year one, look at the 5 year one, particularly look at the 10 year one. The returns since inception, you'll also see that on your reports. That tells you what the fund's done in its inception. It's the longest time period. It's a great way to look at the returns over that. Look at that percentage. You see it's probably pretty healthy at the moment because we had such a downturn a year ago, 18 months ago. So the share market's done really well over the last 18 months. So those returns, are they higher than the 3% you're paying the bank for your mortgage? Yes. They'll probably be double the returns that the amount you're paying to the bank, maybe even triple at the moment. The share market's been going gangbusters. So will super outperform your home mortgage rate? Probably. Making contributions into super can also be really tax effective for you now. Not only the earnings you're making inside of your super fund, but say you want to salary sacrifice money to super through your employer, or you just make a contribution yourself using Repay or bank transfer details, you can claim that as a tax deduction in your annual tax return. And that means you'll pay less income tax now. So not only are you boosting your retirement savings, not only are you getting a return that's probably a darn sight higher than your mortgage interest rate through your super fund, but you could also get some immediate tax deductions, which means you pay less income tax now. In super, you're also aiming for compound growth. Before we said, if your super fund returns you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, whatever it does per year, that money doesn't come out of your super fund. It stays in your super fund. So then your balance grows. You then make 5%, 8%, whatever it is, the next year on your super fund, and it compounds. You get returns on returns on returns on returns. That's called compound interest. You're not going to get that from simply repaying your home loan, which again, your return is just equal to whatever your interest rate is. With superannuation, you're going to get compound growth over the long term, which can really be a game changer when it comes to wealth creation. And a final benefit to boosting your superannuation is when you get to retirement, you can access your super. Whatever remaining home loan balance you have, if you've got a small amount remaining, you can take some of your superannuation to repay your home loan and really clear it. So you don't need to feel that you're going to be losing out by boosting your superannuation. Yes, it might take you longer to repay your home loan. You may pay more interest to the banks. But again, if your super fund is going to outperform the cost of your borrowings, then you're going to be better off by boosting your superannuation and sticking to it for the long term. Then having more money in your super fund pot by retirement, you can then access it as you like to clear any remaining debt. And that will usually be a far more tax effective and wealth creation effective strategy than just paying off your home loan. So to summarize, is it better to repay your home loan faster or boost your super? Look at what interest rate you're paying. That's the simplest way to do it. Is your super fund going to outperform the cost of your borrowings on your home loan? Right now, given that interest rates are so low, and they have been for many years in Australia, and they probably will be for a fair while anyway in the future, yes, you're probably going to be much more tax effective and create wealth faster by concentrating on making super contributions. Now that means that you always still have to make the minimum payment on your home loan, but if you have to then make a choice of whether you do one or the other, super contributions will probably be much more effective for you. If you have good surplus income and you can do both, then by all means, do both. Thanks for joining me today. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe, put a comment in the box below. Let me know what questions you've got and what videos you want for the future. I'm happy to do those for you. Share this video. Let's get people talking about money in this country. It's super important and not spoken about enough. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you all next week with another video. Bye.